Hi, guys. So, today we are going to be learning about the pre Civil War North and South. So, your daily objective will be to trace the boundaries constituting the North and the South and talk about the geographical differences of the two regions and the difference between the agricultural South and the industrial North. So, the question is, how is life in the North and life in the South different before the Civil War takes place? So here's a quick warm up. What do you think about when you hear the words North and South? And this can be nowadays or back in the day or from whenever. So we're going to be starting with the North. So the North is everything in the red up here. It consists of New York to Michigan and all of these states up there. So we're talking about the geography first. So the climate in the North was frozen in the winter, so they had very cold winters and they had hot and humid summers. Some of the natural features that they had was the coastline consisted of bays and harbors, which meant they were good for fishermen and shipbuilding. The inland, they had a rocky soil, which made farming really hard on them. So instead of doing farming, they turned to trade and crafts like timber and shipbuilding. The economy in the north consisted of more industries and very small farms in the areas that had decent soil to grow on. And the products were made faster and cheaper because, as we see below this, they shifted from skilled craft people to less skilled laborers, as in if they were immigrants that came in, they were able to pay them less than the skilled workers, so they ended up doing that instead. And this caused the ultimate economy boost for the North because of all the shift from less skilled workers. So, society in the North, so they're Black Northerners, they were free, they were not slaves, but they were not equal due to segregation. White Northerners, they tend to have a little bit of a better life. They lived in cities that were next to factories, close to work, or they lived next to railroad tracks, which meant they were easy to travel. Northern children were slightly more prone to attend the schools to get an education. And a big important one is right here, this last dot. The North belonged to the Republican Party, or it's also known as the Whig Party, and they were more likely to get careers in business, medicine, or education. So we're going to compare it to the South now. So the South is down here in the darker green area, starting with geography. So the climate is a little bit different. They had a little bit milder winters than the North did, but their summers were very hot, very long, and very humid. Their coastline was also different. Instead of, coastline with ships and harbors, they had a lot of swamps and marshland. So that was good for growing rice, sugarcane, and it was also good for fishing. Inland, they were able to grow more and produce more in indigo, tobacco, and corn. And the towns kind of follow the rivers inland instead, so they lived along rivers, not in cities. The economy, unlike the North, was based on agriculture, so plantations and slaves. So white Southerners made a living off of the land, also as we know is the Cotton Kingdom. Cotton made slavery more important in the North, and as cotton began to spread west, slavery actually increased. But the agricultural economy in the South began to stall because the northern manufacturing was becoming bigger and they were able to produce more. So the society in the South. So Black Southerners, a very small minority of them, were free. They would wear special badges to show that they are free, and they usually worked in crafts or things like that. So they were craftsmen instead. But most of the Black Southerners were slaves. So they were cooks, carpenters, blacksmiths, nursemaids, nannies, but most were field hands. So they worked in the field. White Southerners measured wealth in terms of land, and most Southern children did not attend school. And most importantly, the Southern men tended to belong to the Democratic Party. So the last thing you guys need to think about is how were the North and the South different? And name at least 3 things that were different about them.